Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone. This is the Tarda Zone Talks. I hope you're all doing very well on this Friday evening. Sorry, 4 minutes late. We will be finishing up within the hour because some of our panelists are busy. And of course, I did say I've got to be very careful with me time. Now, I was going to put the link in the chat, but I've changed my mind on that. I don't know what I was thinking, to be quite honest. So I've sent the emails. So the people that know they're coming on, there's an email. If you don't get the email, let me know, and I will just put it in the chat. I have been having some issues. So we'll wait until we get all the other guests on. We'll see who's in the chat right now and say hello. We've got Farsight in the chat. Of course, we've got Robert, who will be joining us now any second. We've also got Lord Thought in the chat as well. Nice to see you. We've got Rob Fellows in the chat. We've got Garbage, of course, in the chat as well. Nice to see us. And, of course, as more people come in, I will say hello. But we're here to talk about RTD and Russell Tovey, and in general, the people that are currently in charge of Doctor Who. Now, the last time I did a stream, I had Leon, and he was talking about how this was a critical time for the show, and in terms of who would end up in control of the show, because when the show is on hiatus, and of course it's an unofficial hiatus because BBC don't have the balls to actually come out and tell their customers, basically the consumer, that they've put the show on hiatus, showing a disregard and a disrespect towards the viewing public. But this is an important time, and I've been talking lately about how us fans need to get together and we need to start making some noise. This is the time now to be making the noise, not when the show comes back on air, if it comes back on air with just BBC doing it, or whatever, what form this show takes. We have to be part of that conversation. We've got to be able to steer the show, or get the people to listen to us to steer the show in the right direction. So that's the conversation that we're going to have here. We're going to have Lee have his opinions on the latest meltdowns. We're going to talk to Robert on the Welsh aspect of it, because obviously Doctor Who in Wales, and I want to know what impact the show's decline has actually had on Wales and stuff like that. So we're gonna try get into a lot. And of course, because Lee is going to be heading off, I will give Lee the first opportunity to talk on all of this. As I said, I have sent out the emails. I am expecting PD Rich on some stage. I think I did inform him on Facebook that we're going live at 6. What about that CBBS TV show? Well, we spoke about that again. You know, you shouldn't be going around creating other stuff if the main show is not on a solid foundation. But let's bring on our guests, because I've done enough talking now. Robert, it says you don't have a camera working. I don't know if you have if you use an avatar. We'll see if we can get there you go. It does work. All right, you can knock your camera off. You don't have to have it on. I don't see an avatar. You obviously don't have an avatar there, are you? So that's all right. Right, let's bring on our guests. As I said, we've got the one and only Problem Being joining us. Been a long time. Nice to see you.
Hello. Been a while. Good to be back.
Has a lot's happened, and we will get into that. Of course, we do have Robert joining us as well, all the way from Wales, folks. So say hello to Robert, folks.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. My favorite.
I remember I do my avatar though, so what haven't I done? It's like 6 months ago all over again.
So when you go see the 3 little dots on where you are in the studio, there's 3 little dots, and it'll say edit name or edit mic. I think if you go into edit name, hold on. Oh no, that's you. Right. You can go in, right? So the 3 dots, and you'll see edit avatar, and then you can put a picture in there if you want, instead of having the camera with the line going across it. I'm just saying it's a personal preference. I just thought with that sign there, you wouldn't be able to come on, but they've obviously changed it. So guys, I haven't used StreamYard in a while. I'm only getting used to the new layout. Anyway, Lee, let's get into it, because recently RTD received an old token BAFTA lifetime achievement or whatever it was. I don't even know. It was just off the Welsh.
Lifetime Grift Achievement.
Yeah, but that's what it should have been called. And of course, Russell Tovey recently as well, what was it, the Attitude Awards or something, he made a speech as well and had a total meltdown, just like his boss, RTD. And I just wanted to, I don't know if you've actually seen what they have.
I didn't know about the Tovey one, no. Tell me more.
Right. Well, apparently he said that, well, no, not apparently, because I read it. So he said that that the LGBTQ plus community will have to ready themselves and prepare themselves for a reform government, basically scaremongering the LGBTQ people into believing that if Nigel Farage is elected, it'll be like Germany, or it'll be like what happened back in the late 1930s. We'll be back to that sort of situation again. So he was implying that if Farage gets in, that LGBTQ plus people are going to be in danger. So he's scaremongering, he's fearmongering, the usual stuff that comes out of these people's mouth when they know that there's a pushback now. So they're using every opportunity that they get, Lee, at these award ceremonies, because it's award season, as you know. So we're going to hear a lot of this now for the next couple of weeks and months with these celebrities, whether it's in America or whether it's in the UK, coming out with their stupid little fucking virtual signal speeches. But that's what he's done. He's basically put the fear of God into the LGBTQ plus community. You can actually check it there. If you Google his name and just go into an article and just read a little bit, the headline alone is absolutely like startling that he'd come out with stuff like that. But what have you got to say about RTD and Russell Tovey, who used their platform to push this kind of stuff, this fear-mongering, this absolute blatant lies? And it is, let's be honest, it is all blatant lies, the crap that they come out with. Like, nobody's beating on anybody here, We're just saying, hang on a minute, logic has gone out the window. Intelligence has basically gone out the window, and everybody's ignored in science and biology or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm PD.
Hey, PD.
Hey, dude.
Good to see you, my friend.
Hello, PD.
Hey.
Yeah. How do I feel about? Well, like I feel all the time. Shut the fuck up. I'm just so tired of all this over the top reactionary nonsense. If you're afraid of democracy, well, it's because you've been ignoring it for so long.
Yeah.
The only reason why people like Reform, whatever, will get in is because you decided that you were better than everyone else. You wouldn't listen to anyone else, and you rammed all your politics down people's throats. And as for being a threat to LGBTQ plus, blah blah blah, well, I mean, let's have a look at what the left has been doing to gays, lesbians, and bisexuals. The first three letters of that alphabet. We've been under threat because of you lot, and you demonized us. You've called us
that's what I was going to say, Lee, because I've seen a lot of comments from obviously trans allies and stuff like that, blaming us for the hate that the LGBT
They created
people. They're the ones that actually, but you're right, and I want to make that clear. Like, there was never any issue with LGBT until TQ plus came along.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, back in the 1990s, I remember when the B was added, and I remember towards the end of the 90s, you had the Q added, you had the T and the Q added, and the Q didn't mean the slur word that is bandied around today. It never meant that. It meant questioning people who were unsure.
Is that what the hell it
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what it meant, yeah.
Amazing how that's been erased. So no representation for people who are just, trying to work out who they are, blah, blah, blah. That's just been hijacked by these activists, these radicals. And these radicals, I will also say, since the 70s, 80s, and 90s, were opposed to gay marriage because they thought that the Q word revolution wouldn't happen because it would be too heteronormative. So, when you're talking about enemies of the LGBTQ plus, well, over half that alphabet has already been under attack by these radical people. I mean, they may have changed their tone on gay marriage and whatnot and say, oh, it's under threat now. Well, you were opposed to it in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, stop this nonsense. You change the goalposts all the time. You get these rich elites hectoring the working class of this country like they are God's gift to everything. And they're not. They are as ignorant and aloof and living in a bubble as any other elitist. They're not really living in the real world. So who are they to lecture us? People, might vote Reform or whatever because of other issues, because they simply don't feel they've been listened to.
They've had enough, yeah.
They've had enough. And that is on you. If you hadn't come out all guns blazing about, trans this, Q word that, and all the rest of it, and, wanting to put kids on puberty blockers and all this kind of stuff, you might not have faced this level of resistance because it wasn't there. If anything, in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, things seem to be moving along quite nicely, actually. Gay acceptance was up. Now it's down. It's through the floor, not because people are suddenly homophobic. They're just sick and tired of your rhetoric and demanding people acquiesce and, do as they're told and behave. And it's ironic that Russell T. Davis goes on about censorship. How many people have you got on your block list, Russell? How many people's voices have you silenced?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
How many writers did you have under your run that never got to write again? How many main actors, lead actors, fell prey to your?
I want to ask you about that because that's a very interesting one. When he had his rant, he brought up. Yeah, exactly. But he was talking about censorship and how the higher ups were trying to stop him from actually doing what he wanted to do. So, listen, folks, Doctor Who could have been a lot worse if it hadn't have been. And by the way, it was bad as it's ever been, right? But think about it. It would have been a lot worse if someone in the higher ups, because there was a pushback, obviously, right? Because now I do believe that speech of his talking about censorship and all of this, but that kind of indicated to me, Lee, that he's gone, that he's actually gone, and that was his. That was his. And that was his kind of last stand at that award ceremony to say, fuck censorship. Well, you've been censoring fans. You told the fan to fuck off. Anybody that questioned you on your writing on Doctor Who was an enemy to you, right? And the stuff that you speak about as well is very dangerous. In my own opinion, I've said it time and time again, when it comes to the trans cult and children, it's the biggest crime against humanity that we've ever faced. One of the biggest crimes against humanity that we've ever faced, and yet it's accepted. It's accepted. And because there is a pushback, and Lee is absolutely right.
It's celebrated.
Yeah, it's celebrated. Yeah, that's the thing. We've totally flipped. We've totally flipped from where we were, as you said, Lee, in the early 90s to the late 90s to the early 2000s. It's completely flipped now.
I didn't. Speaking of democracy and voting and stuff, well, I didn't vote for any of this. No one asked me.
Nobody did.
No one asked me if the Q word, a word that many gay men had ringing in their ears as their lives were snuffed out, as they were being spat on after being beaten to a pulp, hearing that word ringing in their ear. No one asked anyone if this was acceptable or if this was okay. They ordained it themselves without any asking or any vote, nothing. I didn't get a referendum on it. And I find that incredibly insulting. But hey, I'm supposed to suck it up and shut up. Why don't you?
Do you know what also I find interesting as well is that he talks about censorship, but yeah, he's not talking about the Labour government censorship, because we do know that he wanted the Tories out. Just like some of the Doctor Who fandom wanted them out and they wanted Labour in. They're gone very quiet, the whole, censorship of British citizens and now all of this digital ID. He seemed to be very quiet on that, but have no problem coming out.
Working out for them, yeah.
Because it doesn't affect them at the moment, but it will.
I noticed with the speeches that both of the people, Tovey and Davis, referenced the Farage party, and
they're just jealous. That's what it is.
They're both are very given to understand they're both Labour supporters, and Labour is under risk of losing loads of seats next election because of people thinking I'd rather vote
loads
for
of local seats as
reform,
well, mate.
Especially the Welsh government elections next year. Now they could be just as much trying to radicalize their own people through fear mongering to try and get the vote out for Labour Party, because since, excuse me, coughing, got a bit of a cold. Since Bad Wolf get money from the Welsh government, if there's a Farage reform left Welsh government in power, they're not going to get too much money anymore. I would imagine.
Well,
so
the irony
political
is
self-interest,
Bad Wolf pays zero tax.
Like the BBC pays zero fines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they I think Bad Wolf in their entire tenure have paid tax twice. I think in their because I've looked at their financial whatevers on the government website, and all I can see is 2 filings for the whole tenure. And I find that extraordinary. I understand they bring work into Wales and all the rest of it, but that's being paid for by the Welsh people.
Yeah, by the millions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
it's a canard. You know, they say, oh, it's bringing in tourism, it's bringing in jobs into the industry. Well, good luck getting a job there if you don't fit the politics. But you're going to pay for it anyway. So there you go, Wales. You're paying for the white elephant that is Bad Wolf.
Yeah, there's about 60 million going to be given over 4 years to Bad Wolf between February 24 and 2027/8.
So rich people can have a good old jolly.
How much? In fair, I'm just asking because I don't know if anybody out there knows. So obviously the government give Bad Wolf the money, right? Whatever millions it is, right? So that's used for obviously production and stuff like that. But how much of that money is used to pay the likes of staff, RTD, and people within the organisation? Because the question you should be asking is, should the taxpayer be paying the wages of RTD and all of these other people? That's the point I'm trying to get at. Are they actually paying RTD his wage? Because if they are, and then he's talking all of this shy, I think the Welsh people should be absolutely fucking angry and dismayed at what's going on.
But Russell T Davies is a man of the people. No,
there was
people's money quite happily.
Apropos that,
in this room, Russell?
I wonder how much of the 100 million from Disney he got. I say they all made bank with that deal. Telling you now, they all made bank with that deal.
I'll say what I said then. I said they should be sued.
I think Sony should take the studios back off them. That's what I think.
Back in 2017, a Welsh Conservative Assembly member raised concerns on this article I found, saying that whether remuneration packages are worth 1.8 million over 18 months for executives of Bad Wolf, including 855,000 to Mr. Tranter, 300,000 of which was listed as relocation expenses.
Wow.
Julie Gardner got 519,000.
Wow.
And a gentleman called Miles Ketley who resigned in March 2017. He had 440,000.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
So there you go. That's
so I'm right.
Socialism.
That was from. That was.
Hold on,
I can't say where that was from, but they were basically a Conservative Assembly member brought it up in 2017, so it's a few years ago now.
Right, so that was in 2017. Imagine how much they've been making.
Yeah.
Now.
So imagine she brought that up, thinking, well, if we're giving money to the it's all about accountability, isn't it? If you give money to a private company, you're going to think, well, how much is needed to keep people employed in Wales and keep the industry going, or how much is it going to be creamed off for a nice new house?
Could someone hold on, Lee, before you say something?
That's unconfirmed. That's what it was alleged.
Could someone in the chat actually Google that now and see if there's has there been any update on that while we're streaming, and maybe put the link in the live chat there, because that's very interesting. That is. I'm referring to a BBC
article from August 2017, but also more recently, as far as the company's concerned, the Welsh government gave a agreement in February 2024 for, like I say, 60 million over 4 years, and they've estimated. It says in their accounts between 2018 and 2020, Bad Wolf said they spent 259 million on production. So it's not all their money comes from. To be fair, not all their money comes from the government. They obviously get money from other sources, but they give them in 2018 to 2020 account report from Bad Wolf. They had 9 million from the government. First half of that was an advance, and the other half was depending on they reaching spending milestones of approximately 121 million by December 2020. So when they give the money, and then they give conditions of, well, we give too money on the expectation that you produce so many gross value added of profit or whatever, and to the economy, and that you can demonstrate that it was worthwhile as giving you the money. Now, of course, that's all really good, but like I said at the start, there's a suspicion in my mind that all this we're under attack to business with Farage and saying that the prejudice against the media in America apparently, but it's not.
ADF all over again.
Yeah,
I'm at the point of something very interesting on Bad Wolf Studios. So Bad Wolf Studios 2020 financial results are not available yet, but their most recent publicly reported earnings were a pre-tax profit of 10.5 million for the year ending March 31st, 2024. Their turnover for the same period was 94.2 million. The company notes that global screen industry's economic uncertainty could impact future performance. But listen to this, right? Future outlook. The company acknowledges industry-wide uncertainty, particularly a downturn in US investment in international productions and used in high-end drama budgets, which could affect their 2025 earnings. So basically what they're doing is they're prepping for the fact that Doctor Who was a huge failure as well, and that will reflect in their numbers, I reckon.
I would also like to point out that one of Bad Wolf's things is to put back into the community. So they have all these programs that they fund. So clearly they're getting tax, not only tax break from Wales, but a complete tax write-off. But they are, and I'm going by what I've seen on the HMRC website. Okay, so you can go and look it up yourself. But they have all these little like I don't know, like LGBTQ theatre drama things, whatever. So taxpayers paying money towards for the government, which then gives tax breaks to Bad Wolf, and then Bad Wolf spends money, I assume, saving from the tax they're not paying, to these things which a lot of probably quite a lot of Welsh people wouldn't be all that,
No. They like any grant application to a public body, they probably go forward with all these nicely typed out reports saying, our predictions or our forecast says that we'll increase the value of it in the economy by such and such million over so many years, and we can, all these different caveats probably in the background saying, well, if the economy works a certain way, and cross your fingers and think of Wales while you're doing it. It's a bit of it's business, and it's a bit of smoke and mirrors saying, "Oh, yeah, I'll give you some of that if you give me some of this," and
I'll scratch your back.
It's predicted value added.
Robert, just on the Welsh perspective, how has obviously the quality of the show has dipped over recent years? How much of an impact has that actually had on the Welsh economy and in Wales in general? Does Doctor Who have much of an impact on the Welsh economy? Is it important to the Welsh economy?
From without having any facts and figures in that respect to my fingertips, I'd say no, because people aren't talking about it. It was when it was on and being successful, it was a bit of an amusement sort of thing. Oh look, it's there's the picture down the road. Like, that I know that road. I know that beach. I know that part of Cardiff. So it was an amusing thing at the time.
Takes you out of it though, if you're trying to be on an alien or London environment,
Yeah, London just past the castle. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's not the Tower of London. That's Cardiff Castle. Yeah, you can tell that. What was I thinking? No, it's just the thing is, Bad Wolf doesn't just make Doctor Who, and also Bad Wolf isn't the only TV company in Britain, in Wales, and
it's the biggest though, isn't it?
It's more of the effect on Cardiff and the money which was being. They're going to lose by the Doctor Who experience shutting in the docks.
Yeah, that's
the bay. They call it the bay, but it's down to Cardiff docks from what I call it, and that's going to be obviously a reduction in footfall for the businesses in Cardiff. But people I don't know anybody who talks about Doctor Who except for me. I mean, I have got a large.
It's Dr. Y now.
Doctor what was that?
Dr. Y.
Yeah, and I don't really. I don't go to the pub and stuff, so I don't really know if it's any buzz about. Oh, when's the next Doctor Who coming? I don't think there is. I never overhear any conversation. I never stop saying, "Oh, I wonder when Doctor Who's back on." Nobody cares. It's another show. They're more interested in whatever the BBC are pumping out, or ITV, or Netflix, or Sky, or whatever. People don't watch television as much as they used to. You know, I watch about 20 minutes a day at the most, and I pay for the thing.
Here's the thing, actually, just on that television. When we talk about TV habits have changed, and I've been saying lately, I don't buy into that argument anymore. And for the reason why I say that is because BBC have had another hit in their hands, like in the Traitors celebrity version, and it's gotten over 10 million views.
That's RTD media, isn't it?
But you see, again, as I say, if you make something that's entertaining, and if Doctor Who was entertaining also with good writing, I'm sorry, there is no reason why Modern Who in 2025 cannot at least get 8 to 10 million views a week. I'm sorry, there is no excuse.
My change in TV habits, my change in TV habits may just be my age and my circumstances, you know. And you get to an age, you think, oh well, I'm 55. I don't really watch television all my life.
No, I get that some people do,
but some people, like I say, some people do, and some people they haven't got hobbies and interests after they're knackered coming home from work. You know, they just want to.
But I don't buy that argument anymore, because I do still believe when they make some good TV programs, they're getting the views. I'm sorry, but they are getting the views. So the problem with Doctor Who is the writing.
It's very simple. You produce crap, people switch off. It's that simple. I don't understand this. The old TV habits have changed. There's more of it.
Yeah,
and
no
there's
one
more
likes
of
BBC
it all
anymore.
over the place.
Yeah,
but you still tune in to where you prefer it. No,
exactly.
Used to be a hallmark standard of quality. It was cheaply produced, but it was good quality.
Exactly.
And they loved it. The BBC have scuppered themselves by allowing these crazy, radicalized individuals into the institution, and let them run the institution. It's basically a very simple thing: produce quality, people will come. Simple as that.
Yeah. Oh, did anyone see Tim Davey on BBC Breakfast the other day?
No.
I don't.
Oh my God, that was a car crash, Noel, and everyone else.
I just got to say something in relation to Tim Davey, because someone needs acknowledgement on this panel. Lee called it with Tim Davey as soon as the day he was announced that we did a stream on it, when there was optimism that there'd be changes, and Lee said there wouldn't be. Lee actually called him out straight away. So again, Lee, you deserve recognition for that, because you are spot on once again in relation to that. He hasn't done the things that he basically said he was going to do. He's gone back on everything. To be honest, Gary Lineker is gone, but how long did it take them to get rid of Gary Lineker anyway?
5 years.
Exactly. So I mean, that's useless. You know, if you were a boss with a bit of backbone, he would have been gone straight away. But obviously, Tim Davey doesn't have the chops or have what it takes, and Lee called it, and rightly so, deserves the praise for that. So I want to acknowledge that, because again, you know, on here he said it.
I said either he's going to be a hatchet man and he's going to be tough and he's going to cut everything out.
He was a coward.
But no, he completely capitulated. And that was always the option A and B, you know, in one way or the other. But again, you can't have one man
exactly
who is going to be facing in an entire corporation of, you know, activists throughout it's riddled. You need an entire purge. You need to get back some old hands into the BBC, even if you have to drag them out of retirement, to reinstall some credibility, some skill, and all that stuff that's been lost, all that educational and intellectual stuff that only people who've been trained for decades on the job will know. And once that's gone, you can't have that back. And whilst these people are still alive, I would say drag them back in, pay them whatever the hell they want, and make sure that they come in top to bottom it, get rid of all these useless wastes of space, and just fill the place with people who actually want to be there and actually want to produce quality content.
I remember, listen, I live in Ireland, right? Just to give you a perspective for living in Ireland. In Ireland, we had 2 stations when I was growing up, and then we got a third one then later on. But it was RT1 and RT2. Now, when you got the TV license in Ireland, you got BBC One, BBC Two, ITV or UTD, whatever, the Northern Ireland version, Channel 4 and all that. And then when Sky One came along and all of that shit, right? But I always remember this growing up. On the weekends, on a Saturday night and a Sunday night, in our house and in many houses across Ireland, it was either people were tuning into BBC or they were tuning into ITV. And why were they tuning in? Because as Lee said earlier, right, they had people entertained, falling off their chairs, right? Whether it was comedy, whether it was a sitcom, whether it was a quiz show, whether it was a serious show. There was something for everybody on a Friday and a Sunday night on those channels. They were the top dogs when it came to entertainment, right? And now look at them. Right? They've become a joke. Lee is right that the whole organisation of BBC is rotten to the core, right? And the problem that you have is even after you get all of those people out, it's going to take years for the BBC to rebuild the reputation that they once had and rebuild the trust that they had with the UK public, right? And not just the UK public, worldwide as well, BBC is known, right? They've burnt bridges on so many levels now that I find it actually hard to see where BBC come back from this, to be quite honest with you.
I think it's possible for the BBC. I do. I'll tell you why. I mean, if they act now, but it has to be a commitment to it, because I think the BBC is still fresh in people's minds as the thing they used to love watching. Whilst those people who remember the good times of the BBC are still alive, you can still pull it back round. I think people are crying out for quality of the old BBC, and I think you can't emulate that. You can't create that in a vacuum. You can't have a streaming service that can emulate that. You can't have any other channel do that. It's going to be extremely difficult. But like I say, it needs a commitment. It needs absolute.
They were the benchmark.
It would have to be a 10 or 20 year bid. Effort, because people who were around back then, they're like 70 or 80 years old now, and
that's why I say get them out of retirement, get them in and train up the next generation.
And do you want to know something, Lee? The thing is how to do that. How are you going to get the revolution going to happen? Because people are entrenched.
Will have to be there. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I think BBC. Look, a BBC is dying. Right, nobody watches BBC. Nobody watches BBC News. Even EastEnders, one of their flagship shows now, is lucky if it gets nearly 2 million. Right, I remember.
Didn't the BBC recently have a poll? Right, and
they did
recently published the results of that, and they got panned by people who this was sent out to BBC watchers, viewers. Okay, this is their audience, and their audience responded by saying, I love the BBC, but can we just stop being lectured at? Pretty much.
I had an email about that back from Tim Davis.
So what you're saying is that even though BBC's done all of this, it seems like that because of the BBC, because it's the BBC, because they're past, there's still hope there, and people are hoping that BBC do the right thing and start doing what they used to do. Because I will tell you this, right? BBC was the benchmark. right?
Oh,
For
yeah.
comedy, right? For crime series, for TV shows, game shows, you name it. Whatever it was, they were the benchmark. To see them now today in 2025, for me, even as an Irishman, is sad to see, because you could always tune into the BBC and have a laugh, or you could find something that was interesting for you to watch. You can't even tune into their quiz shows anymore, right? And there's someone there giving a lecture about something. You're there to answer fucking questions in a quiz show to entertain the public. We don't want to hear your fucking personal stories or your struggles and all of this other rubbish. What would you know about the struggles and all of this? Look at you in your big fucking house and your bleeding fancy fucking car. Shut up, the whole lot of yous. Sorry.
No, sorry, dude. The most of the quiz show's gone over to ITV now. That's how bad. ITV. And ITV is known as the lowest common denominator in the TV world.
Well, it used to be.
ITV always played second fiddle to BBC, though. But in fairness to ITV, though, over the years they did make some cracking fucking TV shows and some game shows as well. That has to be acknowledged, like. But they're just as bad as the BBC. I mean, I would even say now that they're even getting worse than the BBC right now.
They're on a par, I'd say.
Probably,
they're as bad as each other, aren't they? All Channel 4.
Yeah.
That's public broadcasters for you and Sky.
I never thought that you mentioned Channel 4, Lee, but I never imagined that Channel. I know Channel 4 was always kind of wokey, like
Channel
even growing up it was.
Very progressive, but it was always very cutting liberal. It was very, very, it's very edgy, very.
Yes.
I love that. They play it so safe, so as not to offend anyone, and it's all politicized. I can't watch any of it. I just find it so sad that what used to be the edgiest stuff on TV is now just absolutely deballed. I can't countenance it. I can't.
So if BBC have some hope, like you said, of doing so, but it will be, as you've acknowledged, it will be extremely difficult. Does that mean that you believe chance for Doctor Who then? Would you put that in with that conversation, or is that a separate conversation to be had?
I think you can't really separate it. I mean, Doctor Who is the BBC. The BBC is Doctor Who. But I will say that the culture has to change, and they are showing no signs of willingness to capitulate or to compromise on anything. And when you have that mindset that we are right, we're on the right side of history, everyone else is fucked up and stupid.
Someone else thought they were the right side of history once.
You've got no maneuver. You've got no room for things to change. You can't turn anything around when you're confined in a tiny box, in a tiny bubble, whatever metaphor you want to use, where you cannot see any version of this reality where you're wrong. And you're wrong. The BBC, you are wrong. Doctor Who, Bad Wolf, all of you lot, you are so wrong. You might have been running at the edges of, the zeitgeist back in 2005, but it's not 2005 anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's
I noticed when I rewatched the Tovey acceptance speech, one thing I wrote down to one of his quotes was, "I hope I'm wrong. I do, but I don't think that I am." So that is something.
See, that's the thing though about Russell. But here's the thing about Russell Tovey though. I don't actually believe that Russell Tovey would have those opinions if he wasn't in the environment that he's in. He only has those opinions because he's a product of that environment.
True.
Right? RTD. Exactly, yeah. Listen, we've had but can I just say this? I know you're saying he's an activist, but we've had activists before in Hollywood and throughout the decades. We don't have a problem with activism, right? No, the problem is when
you want your own time. Just don't push it in my face. It's my fault.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And a lot of these people never really pushed it in their face. They do it outside their work. They do it outside their work. They take a. Remember, we've heard of actors and actresses of taking a break from their Hollywood career, and they've went off for a year to help people. They've actually backed up their words with fucking action, like.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't learn anything from the way Jane Fonda was received when she started going
Oh,
activist.
paranoid Jane.
You know, if they had some wisdom about them, they would have said, "Look, that's the public reaction to some actor becoming an all activist. We probably shouldn't do that. We should just try and entertain people and get the crowds in, and people will pay for the business we're offering them. You know, you don't buy a pair of you don't buy. Sorry, just a sec. You don't buy groceries and get told some activist speech. Well, you do these days with all the various months of the thing.
The meat
But
one, isn't it?
you don't buy a car and say yes, but remember now it's vote Labour next time, because no, the businesses try the product and people like the product, they'll buy the product and they tell their friends the product's great, and then more people will buy the product. If you make things which are alienating the general public are not going to watch. It's like Lee said, it's a simple business supply and demand thing. Nobody's going to watch something
exactly
they don't want to be supplied with.
It's show business.
Yeah, business.
It's not even that, you know, it's not making
Finally,
people
sorry.
switch off because I don't like it. It's because you're attacking them. You are literally attacking. I'm going to say literally, and I don't use it because Russell T Davies, for a literary man who uses literally all the time in everything.
Yeah, I know.
I find that incredibly telling about the level of his actual intellect.
Yeah,
But anyway,
he has his word literally, and I keep repeating. What's the word I keep repeating all the time? We all do it. We all have.
But with him, it's like a tick, you know. It's like, but I will say,
go on.
You cannot constantly attack your audience. How many times is it when a show is about to come out and you got your lead actor standing at a podium lecturing people?
Yeah,
it never works. When you have people taking the rise out of you for these things, like we had it with what's his face, the comedian from The Office.
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky
Gervais.
Wipe the floor with your snotty attitude.
Yeah, I love Ricky.
And needled it perfectly, and you still do it. It shows to me you are so detached from reality. Yeah. You are so unaware, and it's so infuriating because, you know, I like Russell Tovey. I like him. I think he's a
think he's a good actor.
I don't think he's a lead, quite honestly, but I think he's a good character actor.
Yeah, he is good.
He's Russell's mate, though, as well. You got to remember
if you want to be an activist, go and be an activist. Go and be paid.
That's me now. Yeah,
but
exactly.
If you're going to be an actor, you have a platform that people like us, other than on YouTube or whatever, or in the pubs or in the, you know, in the cafes, whatever, at home, we don't have that same privilege as you. You have a privilege, and you have overplayed it, and it's gotten to the point where it's become so
they're abusing it.
It is abusive because you're lecturing and telling people who work hard for a living, who do other jobs, who don't have the luxury of going out getting awards every 5 minutes for standing around and talking or writing things down. They don't have that privilege, and yet there you are using your platform telling these people that they are evil, wrong, bad. You know, and it's a drag. It's a constant drag, and it can only go on so long before people say, you know what, we're sick and tired of your bullshit.
But Lee, did you ever imagine when we started this and you first came on this channel and we were speaking about all of this, that long time ago, that we'd still be here though in 2025? Like, do you know what I mean? It's so long now. You think it would have, the pushback or the resistance would have happened a lot sooner, but obviously we're seeing a change in the wind now. But is it too late? Is it too late though? Is there too much damage done to repair now?
I think the whole industry is in its own bubble. I mean, they can shout and rant and have their private awards ceremonies to each other and say, we're being attacked, you must resist, you must vote Labour. I mean, must resist, and they're trying to get us censored while we're censoring other people. But nobody cares about the entertainment industry. They got other things to think about than whether the TV.
They have no influence anymore.
No.
Oh, I do hope that multi-millionaire who's on, you know, getting his award and sipping champagne is all right. Oh my goodness, I don't want him to be censored. but you know, you can get arrested for making a tweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
was saying. You don't hear him complaining about that. You know, they are so self-absorbed, living their own bubble and only thinking of themselves. Like, broaden use our minds, like, and see what's happening around you. And I know they know and they're aware of what's happening around them. They just choose to deliberately ignore and just focus on their issues and their problems.
Most of the time, they go and do these things not because they actually bloody care about these issues, but because they want to be seen to, and they want to be awarded. They want the applause. They want their back slapped, and they want to be told how virtuous and good they are, so they can feel relevant. But they are not relevant.
It's networking for the next job as well, isn't it? That's basically
it is. It's being seen.
Possible production.
It's a virtue signal, but it's a virtue signal amongst each other where they are guaranteed to get something.
Well, he is. And Bad Wolf is obviously going into production. They're doing some other productions now. Nothing in relation to Doctor Who, of course, but they are going to be working on some productions soon. So, look, they'll get work either way. The problem the biggest gripe that I have with RTD is obviously, him attacking fans, but for him to look, even in 2005, I knew he was an activist. I knew he was very political, and I don't know what happened in 2005 for his era, but the reins were put on him. Obviously, they could have been probably put on him a little bit more, but look, I will never dismiss his first era. I said that yesterday. I still love it. I know, and as I said, I understand your reasonings behind that and other people's reasonings behind that. But I have such a love for that first era. I can separate the fact that he's an asshole too, because it wasn't just him that wrote those episodes, and I would be ashamed to punish the other writers that worked very hard on that because of a prick that he is today. So it's the same with Moffat. I'm still going to enjoy the Moffat era, but what makes this even more heartbreaking is that he kept, for me personally, I think in 2005 he came to Doctor for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But this time round, it was for the wrong reasons. He had a chip on his shoulder. He had an agenda to push. He was angry with the world, and he used Doctor Who as that platform to go and attack fans. And remember, this is the thing, even the fans that supported him, he was slagging them off as well during that season of Doctor Who that just went by, and they're oblivious to it, which is even more startling. Like, he's literally slagging. Yeah. So, like, he was going after everybody. He was given out to the world. But you know what, RTD, I'm just going to say this, right? You have your opinions. I don't agree with them. Yeah. But when you come on to Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned, you have to put Doctor Who first and leave your bullshit at the door. And that goes for anybody that does take over this show. That's all I want. Just leave your personal bullshit at the door and write the best that you can for Doctor Who. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least we could say you tried and it wasn't shit because, you pushed a political agenda or whatever. It was just shit because you weren't good enough. And the fans that's the same as fans would accept that. Fans would accept that. You're shit, move on.
I want to draw attention to Drawing Jack Rabbit, where he says that he never understood Doctor Who. And I think maybe he did as a kid, but I think he just saw it as a moneymaker. And he calls it a 20-year-long parody of itself. And I agree. I think it's ironic, really, when you get people like the production team from New Who sitting there bashing 80s Doctor Who as being a pastiche when they have done nothing over the last 20 years other than make a parody. And I've always watched it thinking and hoping, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It got worse.
Yeah, you know I'm very critical on Colin Baker's Doctor and Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. I can tell you now, after this whole debacle, right, the last few years, that it makes the 80s look like fucking Shakespeare. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't get but that's what it makes it look like now.
All right,
It actually, do you know what? In some ways, we should be delighted because it's made that 80s, that period of Doctor Who's got, it's made it look absolutely fantastic. And I would encourage people, look, I'm not the biggest fan of the late 80s Doctor. I've made that clear, right? But I would encourage fans. I'm even watching it again myself, right?
Well, I've been doing a rewatch of, we've done the 10th Doctor, now we're on just finished the first season of the 11th Doctor. I'm kind of enjoying it a bit more with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
I think Matt Smith is
so underrated, man. Matt Smith, I'm telling you.
I find so many flaws with it, so many plot holes. But I mean,
but you can still enjoy it though. But that's the thing. We know that Moffat's era was flawed, right? Nobody's saying Moffat's era was perfect, but you are enjoying it, Lee. That's the most. But you are, even with its flaws. But even with its flaws, you're finding enjoyment in it.
Well, you have to. I've managed to separate it. I've managed to siphon it off as its own thing in its own universe.
Good.
I mean, it's not related to the classic series.
And that's the thing with this era and Chris Chibnall's era. There's none of that. It was just flawed and badly written. Whereas with Moffat, it was flawed, but sometimes he could knock it out of the park with the writing. Or Matt Smith's performance or the cast's performance would elevate that script. I mean, thank God for Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. Seriously. I mean, those two lads especially should be given a lot more credit than they're given because of what they had to deal with. Because let's be honest, the quality of Doctor Who wasn't great. It was declining for a long time. Like we say that the Chris Chibnall era ended it all. But let's remember and let's not forget that Stephen Moffat had burnt out a long time before he left and the decline of the show had already happened. It just accelerated when Chibnall came along and then obviously it bucketed out with RTD2. I can't actually believe that he's the man that finished it off though. That's
apparently Jane Tranter's been attacking Rob Shearman now, according to Parslight in the chat.
Right.
Saying he was rude and telling porkies about the show.
Can't these people, executives, just shut up and let people...
Very thin-skinned, aren't they? It's
hold on.
For them to attack Doctor Who, but when they get criticism, they can't handle it.
Here's the thing. Right. We spoke about this in an earlier stream. Right. So Rob Sherman, the writer Dalek, I think everybody on this panel will agree, probably one of the best episodes of the RTD era, yeah? Right. So he now... And he makes a mild criticism, right, of the way things were handled. And now Jane has gotten her nose out of joint now and is attacking that writer. Maybe Jane, maybe RTD and everybody else connected to Bad Wolf, you should be listening to this man.
Mm-hmm.
How about listening to Colin Baker? Colin Baker, who I absolutely detest, came out and said that this whole thing was nonsense as well, right? As I said, you could sense there's a change in the air now, that some of the people that have worked on Classic Who that would normally defend this shit are coming out and they're trying to be nice about their criticism, but they're criticising none of the less. And that's a change in attitude, in my opinion. You have to be listening to these people. If you won't listen to us fans who've been telling you ways have been going wrong, then fine. Listen to people that have worked on the show before then, that have past experience on it and know what Doctor Who want. And the reason why Dalek is such a great episode is because that we weren't expecting Daleks. Remember, everybody that was around at the time will know that there was issues at the time and they managed to get it, right? And we got that episode and it blew everybody away. That when Christopher Eccleston's Doctor walks in and says, "Hi, I'm the Doctor. How can I?" And the Dalek just fucking comes alive. That is just epic. That whole scene is just the raw emotion that Christopher Eccleston conveyed in that scene was absolutely perfect. It was just magical. That whole episode was just brilliant. And Van Staten, he just added to it because he was just so oblivious and a stupid idiot that wanted to take over the world. But there was nothing behind it, you know. They weren't liking this fella to Trump or anybody like that. It was just a mad fucking fella collector who wanted basically to be the one in control of the world. But it was brilliant. It was so well done. And this writer comes out and says this kind of puts a full stop on things, and you're having a meltdown because he had the guts to come out and the courage to say something. Now, I just want to say on that though, just because Robert has come out and made those comments doesn't mean that everybody should say, "Oh, we want him as the showrunner of Doctor Who." Okay, no, not on any level and not on any world. We need fresh blood. Nobody that's worked on this show from 2005 onwards, nothing to do with it. Don't want anybody connected to the new Who era working on it. We need fresh blood. End of.
Time to change.
No.
Yes.
Do you want a mic drop moment on the Jane Tranter?
Yeah, come
on. Okay. Jane, do you remember Ruth Baumgarten from Ghostwatch? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Tell you about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, that went over.
As Dr. used to say, I'll tell you about it afterwards.
Fantastic.
I'm so out the loop at the moment.
I do know Lee has to head off, and we are gone past the hour. And as I said, we've only got limited time. So if anybody else wants to add on before we finish up, you are more than welcome.
There was some news. I thought some Doctor Who news I saw the other day or today. I think it might have been. Jenna Coleman ate some Chinese food apparently.
Oh
wow!
Wow!
With that sort of news.
That you see, Doctor Who fandom so bad that Jenna Coleman tries Chinese food for the first time, and it's big news. What the hell has happened to this show?
She's just like us. She's just like you and me.
Next time, look, there's Matt Smith with a funny looking hat on his head. Doesn't it remind you of the time he was in Doctor Who? Some shit like that. Get away. It's getting ridiculous that they're actually making up headlines now, right? But look, go on.
We need to know these things. That's all. That's fine.
Jesus Christ! I swear to good God, man. Oh yeah, there was one bit of actually who knows was the fact that they were releasing the Series 10 soundtrack, Peter Capaldi's last season soundtrack. It's actually happening now. They've announced it. But even the post from the Doctor Who official page could be silent now. It was real cheeky. I was like, the fucking cheeky, you know what I mean? Fans have been calling out for that for a long time, right? Then they put out a video of fake tweets and all of this, demanding that this could be silent now. We're announcing soon, so you could shut up now, right? Give us our money, basically, the attitude. But Peter Capaldi came out with the funniest comment of all. When he was told about it, this is what he said. I've had it on my iPod since God, it was 8 years ago. Right, little did Peter Capaldi know he was listening to the bootleg version of his own fucking soundtrack. It wasn't the original. It wasn't the original because it hasn't been released. So he said he's had it on his iPod for the last 10 years or something, or whatever long ago it was. Yeah, it's nearly 10. It's nearly 10 years. Is it 10 years?
Well, yeah, nearly.
Yeah, somebody probably sent it to him.
Yeah.
But I have to say, out of all of Murray Gold's work, Series 10 was, I think, my favorite because I love the music from World Enough and Time. I think is sublimely.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I just wish that he could have continued from there.
I know.
Really.
I think Moffat was going in the right direction there with all of that. I don't know what look, he was burnt out. He even admitted himself, but
Yeah, still do your job.
It's
mate.
there's so much potential. Again, though, there is some stuff there that you can enjoy, but there was so much potential there with Moffat, and it was just kind of squat a little bit. Didn't really deliver, but he gave us some memorable moments. I mean, Heaven Sent is still up there as far as I'm concerned. That's an incredibly beautiful episode. They just don't talk about the second part, like. But anyway, look, it's nearly 10 years, as Nicholas said. But look, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to give the panelists an opportunity to plug themselves if there's anything to plug. They can go ahead and do that. And also, we'll put in some of the channels as well of people out there to subscribe to and to support. So I'll start with you, Lee, because I know you've got to head off shortly. So anything you want to plug?
No.
Oh, that was easy. There you go. Sean, me guess we're like that. Money messing. You sure you have nothing to plug now? Nothing? You don't want to plug anybody's channel in particular? Anybody? No?
Just obviously Drawing Jack Rabbit. Wrestling reviewer Daniel. Obviously go and check them out because they are awesome. And anyone else?
Yeah, I was going to say Garbage. Garbage is putting out some content on his channel, so go and check out Garbage's channel there as well, folks.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll do this fast. I've done this for a while.
Yeah, true. Robert, while PD is doing what he's doing, do you want to give yourself a plug?
My channel is pretty dormant at the minute. It's been basically showing model airplanes, but I haven't built one for ages. So I'm thinking about rebranding it and changing what I do on it. So who knows what it'll be about? But I've got a channel and watch it or not, okay, because I don't get any money from it either way. But in the meantime, look at everybody else's channels; they're really good. There's much more better things out there than BBC to watch,
There is. That's the good thing about YouTube. But I'm pretty sure YouTube is going to do what Elon is doing now and push content creators off that platform eventually.
This photo is me back in about 1978, 79. So I just found the first photo I got of myself. I wasn't ginger. It was just the color of the film. Back in the day. Yeah, the old film. Me when Lala Ward was Romana. This is what I looked like then.
Glad you enjoyed the stream, Rob. It's nice to see some positive feedback. We do like that. Leave a comment on that and that we've discussed tonight in the comment section. Of course, you can continue the conversation there. Of course, we'll have Aerod Troll as well. I've been getting them again lately, which is absolutely hilarious. Getting called to say, listen, do you know what I love about them is that in 8 years of doing this, right, or 9, actually it's longer, isn't it? Doing this, right, they haven't come up with any new phrase. It's the same fucking playbook time and time again. Listen, don't waste me time with your insults if you haven't got new ones, all right? I welcome some insults as well. It's all part of the experience on YouTube. But if you can't come up with a new one, don't even bother. You're wasting your time. Now, PD, the floor is yours as the last person to...
Little tiny apology to Lee. That paint actually does work really well. It just needs time to cure.
Oh, what paint was that? Which one was that?
The chrome one. It's
really
but you need to let it cure for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, well, I've done it. I've done that to use stuff that takes about a month to cure, and it suddenly cures. It's, oh, finally. Yeah, it's actually really good, but it's got to cure. Because I've still got some stuck on my desk from when I used it about 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh Lord!
Anything silver, you've got to make sure it's cured before you put your fingers near it.
Yeah, or else it just comes straight off of your fingers.
It dulls, doesn't it? Chrome.
Yeah, it just dulls so easily. It's just got to wait for it to cure. Just give it a moment. Okay, then. Okay, you can find me now on Rabbi still. Yeah, I'm still with Rabbi, and you can also find me with Dan on his Saturday night show.
Good. Fantastic.
In the chat, that is. I'm not on the stream. I wish I could speak to Bolster again. I haven't spoken to him in ages.
No, I haven't spoken to him.
Oh, no, I've spoken. I only spoke to Dan recently, as I said. We go back and forth now on X. We actually talk quite a lot now. It's brilliant. He's offered, to help the channel as well in any way that he can. Dan's been really nice to me. He always has been. He's always supported.
Yeah, he said it was good that
the
you were
channel.
back. Yeah, he said.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I know. He sent me a private message when I came back. I won't say the content of it, but he made it clear to me that, you know, I've been missed and the channel is important.
It's nice
so
of you to say.
when I hear exactly, when I hear things like that, though, it gives you a bit of a boost, you know yourself. So yeah, I'm glad that people look. I've had a positive reaction. I just want to say, you know, I'm glad I'm back, but I did need the break, and I'm not going to shy away from it. We had that conversation. I'm not going to go through it all again, but I would advise anybody to do the same as well, though. You know, people will understand if you need to take a break from social media and you need to disconnect and get out and find nature like I've been doing, then that's what you need to do. You know, because your mental health is the most important. Look, I'm not the only one that's had a bad year. I know everybody's had a bad year this year. But look, but look, it's all good. We're still here. We're still battling away, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? So thank you all for joining us tonight. As I said, carry on the conversation over on the comment section there, and we'll try make this every Friday night, because we do Friday night streams all the time. So we'll see if we can keep this going every Friday night. I think people would really like that. So we'll see what we could do. I'll talk to the lads behind the scenes now before they all head off, and we'll discuss it and see what we can do. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and we'll say good night. And as you know, there's no outro now, so it's just straight off. So see you later. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you to me panelists as always.
Thank you.
No worries.
Adios.
Adios. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you later.